A couple of weeks ago I picked up this Pietta 1860 Army at a gun shop. I bought a pair of them, and they came as a buyout of a cowboy collection, and the date stamp on the gun says 1996 was the build date. They look unfired. I've taken them apart, and they don't show any signs of ever been fired. They got a few handling little marks on them here and there, but that can be expected after so many years. This one has a problem. I don't know if I can show it here. The Arbor's loose. I didn't notice this when I bought it, but out on the internet you can Google Colt Arbor and find places on a bunch of forums that describe various ways of fixing this problem. The old gun design has been around since about the 1830s, and this is a 1860 generation engineering. So there's been people around that's known how to fix these things, and they do come out from a factory with loose arbor, so that it hasn't been shot and worn out or anything. We'll take this gun apart and show you how I'm going to fix it. Now, I've not done this before, but it looks like kind of a straightforward process. Like I say, there's documentation on the internet, but I've not seen any YouTube video, so kind of a hold my beer and watch this kind of a DIY production. Now, I'll probably speed up this video to not bore you too much with how to take these apart. If you've got one of these guns, you probably already know all this stuff. Maybe you can see from this angle with it disassembled, but this arbor moves back and forth probably at least 1/8 of an inch this way, and up and down maybe about 1/16 of an inch. It's held in by screwing into this back plate here into the frame, and it's held in place and indexed by a small pin that's I've put a little spot of white out on here so you can find it, otherwise it's pretty hard to see. This pin will have to be drilled out because it's blind driven and it doesn't go all the way through. That's what I'll attempt to do here, and then I can hopefully remove the arbor. I've set this up in my mill vise. I haven't found the lid off of a Sharpie to protect the arbor here in this clamp, and there's a groove in here. Hopefully this arbor will be vertical and in alignment here, and you can still maybe see the little spot here where I need to drill. I'll use a 3/32 drill. It's what's recommended by some of the advice on the internet. We'll see how it works. They sometimes say that just drilling it out will break it loose and it'll pull back out. Got a spring-loaded center punch here. It's never been real reliable, but we'll give it a try. Now I'll set up over to the drill press and use the drill and see if I can drill this out. I have this set up where it's a better advantage for you guys to watch than it is for me to actually do, but I think I can get it done. The directions call for drilling this 1/4 of an inch deep. So I'll watch this gauge up here, and it says 0, but I'll have to just kind of guess it at and try to drill it 1/4 inch deep. It looks like it'd be 1/4 of an inch. We'll give that a try and see if it, on closer examination, looks like I've got substantially removed that pin, and I don't think I'm going to be able to screw any of it out. I've kind of made a depth gauge here with a mark with the magic marker, and see if I went far enough. Looks like I have. I'm going to try to screw the arbor out of the receiver. Get set up a little bit different. I put a layer of electrical tape over the frame here to kind of protect the finish. This is smooth yellow vise, so it shouldn't make marks, but it won't hurt to protect it a little bit. This frame is tapered. I'm hoping that this won't give me much of a struggle. I have my big screwdriver here that fits this window pretty well. And let's see if it breaks loose. Yeah, it came loose. Looks good. Looks like I got it out without damaging the frame threads or the threads on the arbor. Okay, we're at the halfway point here. We're going to start heading back. I've re-indexed this, even though it's loose, back to where it should be. And I've manufactured a new pin out of just a finishing nail that just took a little bit. Put a little taper on it, and I put notches on it here, which was a suggestion someone made, so that you can break off the nail once you drive it in, so you'd have less trouble getting it cut off. Now, at this point, there's several different fixes that can be put on this, and I'll probably use a combination of both. One is to use JB Weld and just goop it up and screw it back in, and that may be a good fix too. Some square bite. Others, if you just got it a little bit loose, say that you can scrub out the oil out of the threads without taking it apart, and use super glue to wick down inside of it here to tighten up the threads. And if you've got like a brass frame with it completely pulled out the threads in the brass, you can make a steel insert and put in there and epoxy it in however you need to do it, and then put the arbor back in. Another way to do it is to take a impact wrench and peen the edges of this shoulder right here, and therefore push the metal back towards the frame. Pretty sophisticated tool. And I got my anvil here. So what I'm going to do is kind of set this at an angle. Hit it with very light blows while rotating it. It's amazing how many times that you use a hammer to adjust parts on guns, because often the metal is soft. I'm going to try this and see how it lines up. That moved it quite a bit. It's still just a little over rotated just when it's snug. So I'm going to take it out and abuse it some more. Okay, I've got it to where it comes up to about a 1/16 of a turn before it starts to snug up, and it'll turn all the way in. So the next step is going to be to clean up the threads. I'm going to use acetone. It says fingernail polish remover, but that's what it is. It'll get the oil off these threads and off the inside and the outside threads here. Just use a Q-tip here to administer this. Could just soak it in there, I guess. My battery's running low. We're going to have to stop here in a little bit. Clean up these threads. I'll go charge up my battery here and we'll go on. Although this tube is blue, it's red thread locker, Loctite. That's what I'm going to use on the threads. That's one of the options. Now if this goes well, I'll be able to turn this in to just about up tight and then take the screwdriver and tighten it on in. I'm going to put a whole lot on this. This is just kind of insurance. It's probably well more than enough. I usually would put some on the inside here, but I've got so much on this that I think I got more than enough. It's kind of the hold my beer and watch this moment. You see how much it comes to being turned up. See the hole here? Okay, I don't want to take too much time at this. Let's just be eyeballed now. They fully advise installing it. This thing's still tight. Got a little piece of tape in between there, that won't hurt it. They fully advise to install the base pin, the wedge, to ensure that's lined up. Now that should ensure that that's lined up with the hole. I had that hole drilled just a little bit off, I think. I've got my nail. I'm going to apply a little bit of Loctite on it. That should lock it in place. Hopefully I can break this off. Now I've got it. I'm going to leave this set, and then I'll reassemble it. We leave it set for 24 hours or 4 hours or something. But now it's one solid unit. I may have to come in here and polish up the wedge a little bit and polish up the windows again. For the second time, I went ahead this morning and took the barrel assembly off of the frame and cleaned up the various windows and polished the wedge a little bit and reassembled the gun. I didn't figure you needed to head to see that. It looks like it was a success. It's one solid gun now. The action feels really nice on this gun. And now I'm about ready to shoot it, but it's about freezing outside, so I might put it off to a better day. Got a pair of these ready for cowboy action shooting. Thanks for watching.